Hey, Rat World! Welcome back to this week's episode of Spoiling Dead. I'm Tony Walters.
I'm Rebecca Erb.
Oh,
Oh.
there we go. There you go.
Shane Crawford.
Oh, I had this all set up so nice. All right.
She ruined it.
Yeah.
Drop the ball.
All right. So, last night's episode started with... Sorry, I'm going to just go crazy again. All right. So, last night's episode was called The Cell. And it
Hell in a cell.
started with...
Poor Daryl.
We'll start with Dwight. Started with Dwight.
Oh, making
a sandwich.
That's
Yes,
right.
That's
And
right.
watching Who's the Boss.
It was a grand sandwich.
It was like the best food they've ever shown on the show.
Delicious.
Yeah, and you get to see kind of just like a little day in the life of Dwight, and how he is obviously higher up than everybody else because he can just cut in line and do what he wants. And
He was just raiding their stuff and taking what he wanted, right?
exactly. I think that there's a line that Negan says in the episode that is... Let me look it up real fast, like... I just had it, right?
I believe you got it. You got it.
Yep.
This is important. It needs to be shared.
It's
Yes.
an important one,
It's a pivotal
and
role.
apparently I've... Well, okay. Yeah. He says, you earn what you take.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So we get to see him go through, take pretty much whatever he wants, and make himself a really nice, delicious sandwich, and then turn around and make Daryl...
A dog food
A
sandwich.
dog food sandwich.
Yeah. So I think this week we're gonna, instead of trying to go at play-by-play here, like throughout the episode, I think that let's just go through, starting with you. What did you like about this episode?
You know, call me crazy, but I thought the entire torturing Daryl scenes were just fantastic. It was a really good time, and you could progressively see him start to break a little bit more and more, and then also his interactions with Dwight's ex-wife. What was her name?
Sherry.
Sherry. Those were pretty nice times, you know. And as she was kind of saying, you know, you don't want to try and break out because it's just gonna be worse for you, Daryl.
Right.
Like, no matter what he's done to you,
His
there's always going to be more.
Negan's
basically.
ultimatum for him was pretty great too, though. I
Yeah.
also like that.
Yeah, I am, like, as far as Sherry's concerned, do you guys trust her at all?
Yeah.
You do?
Mhm.
You trust her?
I
I do.
absolutely do. Yes.
I think she's genuine, and I think she's taking one for the team. Like, she is basically sacrificing her body to save her now ex-husband, and I mean, just taking one for the team.
I don't know. I feel like I almost trust Dwight more than I
More than
trust
her?
Sherry.
I was gonna come to that conclusion as well.
I think that Sherry right now seems like you want to trust her, but I think that she might be one of the a character that could come under like Stockholm syndrome.
That could be an interesting twist, right? Where we get to a point where it's Daryl teaming up with Dwight and maybe a couple other people. Maybe they're trying to rescue him. You
Right.
know, and then also you've got Negan and Sherry there as a unit. It could. Oh, that's a neat thought.
It was just something
Very
like there was
thought.
just something about everything that she said seemed
Scripted.
yeah, but no, it just seemed
I realize
it seemed
it's a show, but-
manipulative. Like
could be.
what she was doing, where she was
I don't think it was on her, though. You know what I mean? I think she was put up to it. The whole pregnancy test thing, that was obviously staged. But
Dwight was meant to be
think-
there.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. She's
Right.
supposed to be there when they came in the room. But the part where, you know, Daryl was trying to escape, I don't think that was part of the plan. Obviously, Negan set that up. You know, he set it up to
you
where
don't think that she was set up there too to give him that option that Negan
don't.
placed her there to be
I don't.
to give him the option of, you know, you could turn back.
No, I
You don't think so?
really don't. I don't know. But I
We just wanna see the
trust
good in her.
easily. I do. I want to see the good. I try to see the good and want to see the good in anybody's. And I trust people easily.
Right.
But I don't think there's something there. I think she's genuine.
What did you like about the episode?
I liked that we went on the journey with Daryl. That we got a good sense of time passing, and we all hate that song. Like, just went
Easy
insane
Street.
with him and
Right.
felt the pain with him. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't enjoy it, but
I
liked
really
how they did
liked.
that.
I really liked just the opening sequence when he's making the sandwich and the song kicks in. And it's just like I was just laughing throughout the entire thing because it was the first
I
time.
almost thought, because my head was down when it first started, and that song, it didn't make me perk up. I'm like, oh, it's a commercial, odd time for a commercial.
Right.
And I
I
finally looked up, I'm like, oh, it's the episode.
I was
What is
sitting
going
there and I
on?
was laughing and Laura was painting and she looked up and was like, "Why are you laughing?" I was like, "This is the episode." And she was like, "Oh, I thought it was a commercial."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we all thought that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like,
It just-
wait, okay, so the show doesn't start yet?
Who's the boss? On VHS, which is great. Yeah, I really liked that this episode was a character-driven episode. It just focused mainly on Dwight's character. Like Daryl was almost a second thought to the episode. It was Dwight's
Not
episode. You got to learn about him and how he got the scar on his face and
You got the iron.
how he got to the position that he's in. And I liked all of that, but what I didn't like about the episode was how they told you about it. I liked, like, up until the point where Negan goes on his little thing about Dwight and telling you everything. I knew everything by that point. Like, I understood that his wife was now with Negan. I didn't have the exact details, but I understood all those things. I thought there could have been a more creative way for them to let you in on those details other than just have a guy talk for 10 minutes about what happened. It's just a very exposition-heavy sequence that I felt like was...
Maybe that was the role or the purpose of that was to kind of let you in a little bit more on the mind of Negan.
Right.
You know, that's the kind of guy, he's going to sit there and belittle all the people around him.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he sat there and did with Dwight. So maybe that was exactly the way it did need to be executed. Let us know who we're dealing with.
Right. And it did give you more insight into who he is and the fact that he is alone. Like, Negan doesn't have friends. He doesn't have people that he can trust. He is all completely
Really is,
alone, where Ezekiel has a community that loves him.
That loves him and supports him.
I suppose
him.
when you rule by fear and with power, that's kind of what you're going to get there.
Right.
It's going to be pretty lonely at the top.
Yeah. It was just something that stuck out to me. It was just like how lonely he has to be, really. And, you know, now he has Sherry as his wife.
Which originally he wanted Dwight's sister.
Sherry's sister.
Oh, that was Sherry's sister?
Right.
I thought it was Dwight's
That was
sister.
Insulin
Oh,
Girl,
okay.
right?
Yeah, the girl that
Yeah.
died in the
Yeah.
firehouse.
Yeah.
Or the house on fire. So.
Right. Got bit by the...
It was,
the
I think
zombie.
it used to be like a greenhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, were there any things in the episode that either of you didn't like? It was a pretty solid episode.
It was.
It really was.
I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot that I don't like in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this episode was really good, and I liked that all three of the episodes we've gotten so far, they're all character-driven episodes. The first episode is Negan and Rick, and it's just those two, and it's mainly, you get to really know who Negan is. And then episode 2 was Carol and Ezekiel.
We get to know who Ezekiel is.
Yeah, so you get these, and then this one is Dwight and Daryl and some of Negan. But it's just very much just 3 character-driven episodes that all have completely different tones, but feel like they're part of the same world. And I really appreciate it. I think it was really good writing, and it was very well directed and well executed for the most
Completely
part.
agree.
Do you guys think that Daryl will break eventually?
He's what are his options? Are join or die, right? That was an
Join or die, or be one of the peons. He could join, but not be one of Negan. Not be a Negan. He could be one of the peons. And
now, what did the peons do?
They did all the piddly
Dirty
stuff,
work.
all the dirty work, and they earned
okay.
points. And they get to.
Okay.
And then what I gathered from the episode was they get to spend those points on food and things like that.
Okie dokie.
So he could take that option, but I don't see him taking. I honestly thought he was going to break at the end of the episode when he asked him his name.
Yeah.
I
was
honestly
waiting for, what's your name?
I really thought he was going to break there because I think that it would be a nice character arc for him if he does break, because we haven't seen Daryl break in a long time.
Right. Which is true, but I think that's what I like about Daryl's character is I don't think that he can. He was just made to survive this kind of world. He's already been through a ton of crap with his brother.
Right,
and
it's like he
his
didn't
life.
even break as far as like joining Rick's group.
Yeah.
He was still himself and like doing his own thing, hunting through a lot of that because he refuses to be anybody but who he is.
And I think we talked about our last episode of Spoiling Dead is he going to act like he's a part of the group and really have this
Right.
underlying
Right. Well, that's
goal?
why I'm waiting for him to not necessarily break, but I'm waiting for him to be, kind of above himself and realize that the only way out is from the inside, like being able to join his group and then.
Well, the conversation that he had with Dwight at the very end, just as Dwight stuffs him back in his cell, and he says to him, "I know why you did it. I know why you joined." Well, that was the same reason of why Daryl couldn't join. So the people he's protecting, I assume that's Rick and all of his friends, right?
Right.
That's why he can't join. So you're certainly right. I mean, the only way that he's gonna get out of this is by either character arc where he does go bad and does join them, or he at least pretends to. At least till he fakes it and is released to a point where he's out gathering and can get back to his group. But you've got a whole different slew of problems if that's the way he takes it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where his character goes. I was hoping that we would have a little bit of like closure to where his character's going to go by the end of the
Not a
episode,
bit.
and you
Not a
don't
bit.
at all. You just get to see him. You get to see him break down and for the first time, since the death of Glenn and Abraham. Like you get to see him actually break down and understand. I don't know. You understand that he understands that he was responsible for.
And
for Glenn's
that
death.
picture, that's a snake move. Oh my goodness!
I couldn't. What was that?
gracious. It's Glenn.
Yeah,
that's what the picture was.
Yeah,
of?
like in the picture,
Yeah.
it just looked like kind of like a bloody mess, but I wasn't really sure
I didn't
exactly
know.
what it was when I saw it. Yeah, and if like, I mean, who snapped that picture? That's all I want to know.
No.
Like probably off while Negan had Rick. Somebody just walked out and just let me just get that from here.
What?
Can you imagine like the rest of the groups like going through that, and then somebody just walks up and takes a picture?
Just like a Polaroid. Just
Wait,
shaking
I
his
want to
head.
remember this moment.
Hold on a second. So what was the reasoning behind Dwight handing him that?
I think it was to allow him to. I think it's just him trying to break him. It's
You think
just,
that's all it was?
Because he
You don't
changed the
think there was
song
a
then
deeper
too.
meaning?
I think he changed the song there
To
too.
a country song.
It's all a mental. Was it a country song?
Yeah.
It's the
something
all
about
in-
crying.
something about
And
crying.
that- and
That's all
then
I.
he cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we had that scene where Dwight kind of goes against Negan in a sense too, with
When he's
where
walking the guy back.
when he's walking the guy back, and you have the guy telling him that he can't go back. Asking him to kill him.
I really thought he was gonna just let him go.
Yeah.
I thought that's the way it was going to take. I thought we were going to kind of jump ahead and see that he's not a terrible person. And we're starting to see
I think
that.
that's what we saw
Well, that's
because
that is what we saw.
yeah, because he gave him like a mercy kill.
Right. It's because he was kind of at a situation where he couldn't, if he did let him go, he was clearly defying Negan. So
Right.
that just wasn't an option for him because, again, he had to do this to save himself at the same time. So certainly a mercy killing. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it was a mercy kill, and he had that like just that little smile too. Like when he shot him, it was like this little glimmer of just like disobeying, that disobedience.
Is that what he was
Right.
smiling about?
Yeah, I think so. I think the smile
would
wasn't
make
like that he
sense.
enjoyed killing this guy. The smile
it's-
was that it was just
Haha,
a little bit of
Negan.
just a punch in the gut to
Yeah,
Negan.
that makes sense.
Because Negan needs all these little peons to run his organization. Like he needs these guys, and he was not gonna
Take
bring
him.
him back, alive.
Fair enough.
But he wasn't gonna not bring him back either. Because if he showed up without him, that wasn't gonna reflect well on him.
So Dwight is officially the right-hand man, right? Mm-hmm. That seems like a rocky right-hand man. I just don't know
Well,
that
I
he's
don't-
going to be in that position.
I don't think
too long.
Negan trusts him, not even a little bit.
I don't
Negan
think he
is
does
using him
either.
as his right hand man for today, but
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
we have yet to really get connected with anybody else in the group.
Right.
There's the big guy, but I mean, he doesn't even have a name. I think they call him like fat somebody at some point, but I don't
Oh,
think
the
they
one
actually
that
give him
took over Dwight's job while Dwight was gone.
Yeah, the one that left
guy?
it unlocked.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's like right when it was like he shut the gate
And you didn't hear it.
and you didn't hear it. I was like, ooh, he left it unlocked. But in my mind, I was like, he's not that dumb, right? Like, it was all on purpose.
Well, I think he probably is that dumb, and
Well, I think
Negan
he was
purposely
definitely
made him do that thing.
No, I think he told him to
not unlock
yeah,
it.
they were all ready to walk outside and catch him.
That's
Like,
true
I mean,
too. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was where was he gonna go if he started on that motorcycle? Anyway, this gotta be like a gated community and
Right.
stuff. Like, there's no
Right.
way he was getting out of there. Like, as much as you wanted him to, but you.
I am everywhere.
And I'm still
Yes,
surprised.
I loved that whole sequence.
That was
though.
good.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yes, I
Yeah.
really like that. It's something that I didn't see coming. Like, that's just a nice.
He really has taken a shine to Daryl, though. Look at how long he's keeping him alive and really
We're going
trying
through
to.
all of this trouble.
That's a
to
lot of work
teach
just to get him over it.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, and I was wondering that too. Like, why keep him alive? Like, what's the point aside from like the writing and him being a main character
He
and
sees
things?
something special.
But he sees
in
something
him,
special in him, and he did the same thing with Dwight
Mhm.
because Dwight ran away and came back.
He used a lot of resources to get Dwight.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
but
Dwight still got away.
Yeah.
That's what he said, right? And then
yeah, but Dwight decided to come back on his own, and he
Yep.
respected Dwight for that.
Yeah.
So like that's interesting, like all in itself. Like just like I almost wish you could see just that episode.
I
Like,
know. Yeah, it's a really neat history with him.
Mhm.
It would be neat to fill
It
in
really
some
is.
blanks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was cool back to like the what's your name? Negan. So then it clicked to the episode where Carol and Maggie were in that one building and they saved him, and the guy's like, I'm Negan. And that's when,
Oh,
Rick shot
yeah.
him. And it kind of makes sense, like, oh, okay. So,
He's
it was
everywhere. They're all
farther.
Negan.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
So I enjoyed like seeing that,
Yeah.
connecting those
So
dots.
how long until Negan's own people overthrow him? Do you think that this is going to end up being a full-blown war between like because before like as of last week's episode, I was really expecting a full-on war of like the Kingdom and the Hilltop and Alexandria against Negan's people. But how long until Negan's people start to overthrow?
I think it's going to be a matter of war is at their doorstep, and they know Negan does not have a chance.
Right.
So now is our chance to uprise against him.
I feel like that is the same thing that happened to the governor, though. The governor's people turned on him right at the last.
He's
like,
smarter
right
than
when
that.
there was war
He's
there.
smarter than
I
that.
don't
It's not
see
going to
them
work.
turning on him. They just cowered back and was like, "I'm sorry, we can't do this. Let's figure something out." And then he was the one that kind of turned on them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah,
That's
but
They are going to stretch this out for a while. I mean, I don't think
I
you're going to
think
see a war
so,
like that
too.
until either the season finale of this one or even next
I
season.
think
Yeah.
that you might see. I think you might see the war kick off at the mid-season finale.
Certainly some rebellion. I
And I
think.
think
mean,
that the war itself is going to be the span of more than it's going to be more
it's
than
going to
one
be a
episode.
while.
It's going to
Yeah.
be the
for
span
sure,
of.
for sure.
But I don't think Rick is going to be on board with it. Like he
Maybe
is
not.
broken.
Maybe.
I don't think there is one thought of rebellion.
Michonne will get him back in.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that Rick might be broken, but I don't know. I don't know. We haven't got to see him
Or
yet.
Maggie. Or Maggie.
Right. Well, Maggie's going to be the one to start this rebellion.
Mhm.
I really believe that. And but we haven't seen any of that group yet, and we'll get to see them all next week
Which is so
with
nice.
in the 90-minute episode.
yeah.
So I think that she's going to be the one to kick off this rebellion, but I think that Rick might, I don't know. I think that he might just have to play along like he's broken, but deep down, I don't know. I think he's going to be on board.
What was something that Negan had said to him? You have led so long, you're addicted to it at this point. So
Right.
even with all that, I think once they kind of see the light and the potential to overthrow this and get things back to the way it was where he's in charge, I think they'll go for it. But it's just, you're not going to fight a battle you're going to lose. So of course
Right.
they're going to play nice and wait for that right opportunity, and that's going to take the Hilltop linking up with the Kingdom linking up with them. So it's there's going to be a lot of cogs that kind of gotta move into the right spot here, but it'll come. It's going to be good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys expect out of next week's episode?
A lot. I mean, it's a 90-minute episode.
Yeah, there better be a lot.
For sure. You have, a scene of Michonne putting up that gun and that look in her face, and then there's something going on with Rosita where she's out in the woods and hiding.
Right.
So I think there's going to be another death. Maybe not as impactful.
You think a main character death?
I think
maybe we'll lose Eugene.
No, I hope not. I like Eugene. I think it's going to be more like Aaron or Spencer, one of those main characters. Not like the top ones. Because to me, like, even though
who are they going to have conflict with?
Do what?
Who will they have their conflict with? Who do you think they'll die by?
Like, who would kill them?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I would think Negan.
You think?
Yeah.
You think they'll already try and rebel, though?
I think... I don't know if it would be in a way of rebellion, or maybe it would be another, like, hey, like an eye-opener for the group. Like, hey, remember, you guys are ours now. Don't forget that.
Because Negan's supposed to be pounding at the front door, right?
Yep,
Rick,
yep.
let me in.
Yeah, I like just that.
Oh boy.
Like, just that little sequence you got in the.
Little pigs, let me in.
Yeah, he's such a great character.
He really is.
He really is. I hate to love him.
I felt
I
like
like that.
they really strung the governor along, and kind of overdid him.
They overdid him.
He just wasn't as charismatic, though.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't
that kind of bad guy.
No, he was not
him.
that kind of bad guy at all.
He was just annoying.
Like.
Well,
the governor was somebody who got turned into what he was because of the world. Where Negan, I think, was this guy just waiting for this world to happen.
Yeah.
Like, he was very much ready for this.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, do we have any ideas on maybe what Negan did before all this? Have you honed in on anything?
I know you
I'm not
said
sure.
a morticianer.
Well, I think he was. I thought maybe something to do with the medical industry of somewhat, but
Not
being
so
comfortable
sure
with
Which
that.
makes sense.
But just, I mean, that was just from one line, and he hasn't, like, I don't know, he hasn't had the opportunity in the show, but he also hasn't really talked like that at all either since. So I'm very curious, and even like when I read into the comics a little bit, like that's why.
You already know.
Well, no, I read into it, but I read like just highlight cliff notes. So I didn't get any backstory on his character at all. I have no idea who he is. I just know like major events that happen and like character deaths, and some of the characters that die are characters that are already dead in the show, so it doesn't even matter.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I think with all of these mental, what I'm trying to say, I think it's more of like a psychiatrist type, not a psychiatrist.
I don't see him listening to somebody's problems.
I'm not very articulate. What am I trying to say?
Well, he's a master manipulator, so it's gotta be something in that realm.
has to do with the brain.
Well, if he was a governor, like politician.
Yeah, he might have been. There you go.
That would make sense. That would totally make sense.
Fit, right?
It makes sense why he's an asshole
Vote
too.
Negan.
Vote Negan.
Negan 2016.
I want that shirt really bad that says Negan Sluggers. You seen that one? It's like him winded up.
I have.
I want that shirt.
So bad. I want the Glenn and Abraham shirt where it says "Suck
Just
my
bloody
nuts."
messes.
Yeah, where they're just
Too soon.
What? It was like 2 episodes ago. We're fine now.
We've
right?
had a couple of weeks to
Yeah,
grieve.
can we make those
I'm
jokes?
not fine.
All right. So, do you guys have any final thoughts?
Let me check my notes. No.
Such
I
a short
mean-
list of notes this week.
Well, I had notes, and I was better for the drink, and so they were very, very messy. So I tried to redo them, and it's been a busy day, so I didn't get as far as I would have liked. But I mean, I guess maybe back on the Sherry thing, I really do think that she is trying to help, that she feels shame and guilt with what's going on, and she is biding her time and doing what she needs to do. And
Yeah.
I know we already talked about that, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think...
I mean, it's like, I hope so, but I could take it either way because it'd be interesting if she wasn't. But it would also be nice to have somebody that's trustworthy on the show.
It would be,
because
yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah.
happen
Just
very
give us-
often.
just
I
give
anyway.
us
don't. I don't trust
Throw the dog a
Dwight.
bone.
You don't trust Dwight?
I do not trust Dwight.
I trust Dwight.
No, I don't. Not one
I-
bit.
I-
I feel sorry for him, and I hope that there's, his own arc to where he can go back to
Right.
being a good guy. But
I have hope for Dwight. I don't necessarily trust him
There you
because he's
go.
going to do whatever it takes for him to survive.
He
Right.
needs the right opportunity to turn that corner.
Right.
And again, that's not going to happen until you have all these other options
And
presented.
this dude too, Dwight wants to be Daryl.
He does.
Like he really does. He wants to be able to be this guy that he can't break. Like
Okay, I
he's,
can
you
see
know,
that.
he's
yeah.
taking his crossbow.
That's another reason
like,
why he's so jealous of him. Yeah,
Right,
right.
he feels- he-
taking
see,
his crossbow,
yeah, he-
taking his bike, right? He did
yeah,
his bike.
that's what.
didn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah, like that was that whole sequence, right? Was him.
He's trying to be Daryl. He wants to be what Daryl is.
Yeah.
But again, he's clearly not that guy.
Right.
And it's obvious to Negan as well, because Negan clearly, I would almost say already he cares about Daryl just as much or more.
And I
than
think
Dwight.
I would almost
He's-
say more.
Yeah, he's grooming him to be his new Dwight. He doesn't want Dwight anymore, and Dwight probably knows that because
Right.
I know he's going to be reasonably intelligent.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. And I think it's a ploy for Negan is, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. So if he has Dwight that he obviously,
Doesn't trust.
has the, one of the most reasons to go against Negan because he stole his wife,
Right.
so keep him closer so he can keep an
Is
eye
your-
on him.
is your pecker
Same
working?
with Daryl. I cannot believe he
You
said
didn't like that scene?
Oh, I was so mad. Like, how dare him? And then he
thought it
goes
was really
in with
funny.
like forehead to forehead. He's like, okay, buddy, or whatever he says. Like, holy cow, the
Yeah.
nerve.
Well, and obviously women aren't treated very well there either because he said you could just go, take your pick as long as he said
As
he
long
did
as
say
she says it's okay.
he did say as long as she said it's okay.
Yeah, you
so
can't
maybe
just rape him. You
Which
gotta
that's a
ask.
little plus. Which
Yeah.
a little plus for
Yeah.
Negan.
But
but
you should have total respect for him now because he doesn't want you to just pillage the women. You have to ask first.
and just a tiny
Yeah.
bit of.
He's not all bad.
respect.
There's a little good in there.
I'm excited for the moment to see Negan break. Like, I want to see weakness in him. Like,
Buddy,
a moment where
I
he's
just
I
don't
don't think he's
gonna
that
see
kind
it.
of guy.
I
think he's
wanna
Daryl.
see
I
it.
think if you see it, it'll be like in a flashback episode of whatever it took to make him who he was.
Do you think they'll
Right.
ever do that with him though?
I
They did it.
hope
They did it with the
so.
governor, right?
Yeah.
They
I don't know if they want to.
They
It's
did
almost like they would.
do a flashback.
Well, they did. No, it wasn't.
It was side episodes, and they gave you a little insight with him growing with the family and things like that.
Yeah, it was after the
But
events.
that-
It wasn't a flashback, but it was him
Yes.
reverting back to who he used to be.
Right. Yeah. But I hope we see a flashback of Negan's
Yeah.
previous life. That will be interesting.
I'm just very curious to what made him who he is, or like what he did before everything.
I think that's the mystique of him too, which is why I almost think they won't do it because it's a lot
I
more
was
fun to leave
just
it
going
open.
to say that.
Yeah.
Just for you to
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
it's like
That
for-
cliffhanger.
well, it's like the Joker in a sense. Like not knowing who the Joker is
Yeah.
what makes him so great.
Exactly.
So
You're left with more questions and no answers, and
Right.
it's
Brittany. All right. Well, I think we should call it on that. All right. So thank you guys for joining us on this week's episode of Spoiling Dead. Do you have anything to plug? Instagram? What's your Instagram?
You can check me out on Instagram if you want. Geeky.larpchick89.
All right. And you can follow Rad
Do it.
Entertainment at Rad Entertain on Twitter and Instagram, as well as myself at TonyWalters_. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a
Wonderful night.